Good evening. Here we are again with Ríðar of Wyrd. We are here with the study Havamal once again. So we're using the study Havamal by Hunan and Mugen Publications. They're a local publishing company whom we support. You can find links to their book. Hank will be using...
And I'm Hank. And I also am going to be using the Poetic Edda from Carolyn Larrington, which is available almost any place, even Amazon.
Right. I'm Nelson Young. I'm the elder, vice president of our kindred. Larry, our chieftain, who's normally with us, is not here this evening. We have a new face. Would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself?
I'm Joshua. This is my first meeting, so.
And I'm Hank Stratton. I am master of coin for Ríðar of Wyrd.
All right.
And so we will go into the
17th stanza.
17th stanza.
All right. I guess I'll begin with Bray's translation. A fool will gape when he goes to a friend and mumble only or mope, but pass him the ale cup, and all in a moment the mind of that man is shown.
From the throat. A fool gapes when to a house he comes, to himself mutters or is silent, but all at once, if he gets drink, then is the man's mind displayed.
A fool gapes when he...
No, go ahead, read.
Does? Okay. A fool gapes when he comes on a visit. He mutters to himself or keeps silent. But it's all with him if he gets a swig of drink. The man's mind is exposed.
And finally, bellows. The fool is agape, and when he comes to the feast, he stammers or else is still. But soon if he gets a drink, it is seen what the mind of the man is like. So here we go again with drinking.
I said, this is that Larry promised we were done with the drinking. But at any rate,
This is drinking in a good
they
way.
really don't.
I think. Well, it could be a good way. Sometimes it's good to drink with friends and to understand that you can let your mind be exposed, so to speak.
When you're drinking, you are, shall we say, of equal minds. When I was with a reserve unit and we did some training at Buckley, we stayed out overnight. At the Air Force there, they put us up for the night because we were just there for the weekend, and we all had gotten some drink. As a matter of fact, I think it was a medic training course, and all the medics were up there. That's what it was. Anyway, we all had gotten something to drink while we were there being billeted. And the things that we talked about opens the mind, or the man's mind is exposed.
Right.
You're a little freer. It's like, we won't say you're uninhibited, but you are a little more relaxed and speaking your mind as to what is really on your mind. They never thought that I knew what I knew. Because I am so, I won't say I was regimental, but I wasn't talkative. I did my job. If that's worth anything.
I thought it was just referring to like liquid courage,
And it may.
where
That's another way
like
to take it,
you
yeah.
know, when you first meet someone and they're kind of shy and more reserved, where their mind is there, their personality is there, but they're kind of afraid to show it. And then once you have a drink or two, then the true person is revealed.
When you talk about liquid courage,
Mhm.
you do stupid things,
Sometimes.
like getting on a mechanical bull, or you think you're 10 foot tall, and bulletproof. Okay.
Yeah.
That's liquid courage. What we're saying here is that you feel freer to speak. Your mind is more open. Topics would range from, well, your study of the Havamal to whether or not the Planet of the Apes had submarines that went by way of Atlantis.
Wasn't there something about a VW van at Atlantis?
You
that
got my
invented
point.
Penicillin or something.
You
Yeah.
got my point.
Gotcha.
Okay, you're more talkative, you're more outgoing, you're more relaxed, and that's the whole point.
So
That's
this does, as opposed to the other no drinking ones, were an admonition against drinking.
Sure.
This seems to be neutral.
Very much so. Yeah.
It's not
I would
making
say
a
so.
judgment about it. It's
Yeah.
just saying people's minds are revealed, and we get to pick whether we think that's good or bad.
Basically.
Yeah, it may have a little bad because they weren't crazy about having a person's. I mean, you were kind of keep to yourself, but
Yeah.
Well, the-
Pretty
in the,
much
in the
it's
other
neutral.
stanzas, it did talk about being a little bit more reserved till you knew you were in good company, kind of
Well,
a
but
thing.
also in Norse culture, it was very much a thing, and still is a thing in most Scandinavian countries and peoples, that you don't say something unless you know it for certain.
Yeah.
And so when you have a little bit of alcohol, sometimes they talk a little more, and they're a little more certain
Less-
about things what they would otherwise be. My uncle was known for this. My uncle Ingemar was from Stockholm, Sweden, and he got a little whiskey in him, and suddenly it was, I'll decide what I need to be doing here about everything. You couldn't tell the man anything. So whether it was the drink that made him talk more or not, because he was at his job, he was very quiet and focused. Second, he was off work and he was at the bar. It's completely different. So yeah, definitely.
And Josh, your interpretation.
Well, I go along with what you guys are saying. I mean, I'm a pretty quiet person normally by myself and in a group that I don't know. This being the first time.
You can relate.
But, so I can relate, but there's definitely some truth. My brother and I, we talk constantly, but we don't really get into a deep conversation until we're, bottle or two of meat in. And it gives you enough to unlock yourselves where you can talk to each other on a more personal level, to where you can tell each other certain things that may or may not hurt their feelings, but they have to hear.
Right.
And that's not to say drink to excess, but
No, not necessarily.
it loosens your inhibition to be able to be more truthful in some circumstances.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Sounds good. Which is not far from what we were saying, yeah.
No. I mean, that's definitely true. Sometimes we have to know when it's okay to relax a little bit. You're in good company. There aren't always wolves in the door. Sometimes it is just relaxing and just getting to know one another a little better. And sometimes alcohol is a very good way to do that.
It's a little bit of a friendlier equalizer than a cold.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Esoterically, alcohol, or should we say mind-altering substances, have a way of opening doors a little easier than psychodrama would normally do all on its own. You are the most important part of any ritual that you do, and you're the most important part of any, should we say, religious rite that you're undertaking. So sometimes just having something to let you focus a little more, or relax you, or put you into the groove, so to speak, so that you can function.
A better mindset.
Right.
And again, not to go to excess.
No, because then you get way over in the other lane. But just a little bit, just to,
And end up traveling in some places where you don't want to travel.
or wiping away the day.
So, question.
Question from the
Yeah,
audience?
where you don't want to.
Yeah. Was, there's this theory out there that a lot of older cultures, we'll say, or back in the old days, I guess,
Sure.
water wasn't as clean or along the same lines, so
Right.
wine, mead, ale was drank instead.
Well,
So, I mean, could this play a part in the stanza at all? Like, just in people's everyday lives?
people
you
did
know,
drink more often,
versus
and they
water.
did drink a lot because, well, okay, so northern Germany and Scandinavia, 90% of the water
It's
in
probably
Germany is
cleaner.
groundwater.
Oh.
Right? So when you're dumping your buckets of piss and shit outside your window and into
Probably not as
the
good.
water, right? Absolutely. In fact, the Romans used to take a red wine vinegar mixture that's called plotska, and they would mix that with their water as a way of purifying it so they could drink it. And so that was like the first time that water was ever purified that we have documented. We
Okay.
know of. But our people, the glaciers were always melting. You know, they had large amounts of snow and ice in the upper mountains of Norway and Sweden, and so they did have clean, clear water. So it's kind of funny that I'm not too sure how much of a part that played in the northern part of the lands, but as we know, they traveled everywhere. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say, didn't you have a?
Well, where the water was dirty, they would, even the kids would be drinking mead, and it was so diluted. It's
Yeah.
not like they were getting drunk.
Yeah.
It's just a way to clean the water.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Kill the bacteria and
Well,
stuff.
we all have to eat our peck of dirt, as they used to say.
Right.
And we have gotten
Okay.
away from a little bit of dirt
Too
being okay. Yeah, to sterilize.
I agree. Yeah, completely. Yeah, I mean, you take your mortar and pestle, for instance, you know, anytime you're grounding up wheat or grain, and porridge being a staple of most Norse people, you know, they eat a lot of porridge, a lot of rare meat, a lot of that kind of thing. So using a mortar and pestle to grind up the raw vegetables or whatever, you would have chips of stone and rock and dirt and such that were going to be in your food.
Which led to some of the Egyptians having tooth decay because of that same
Right.
idea.
I mean, the average male in Scandinavia only lived to be about 35 during the Viking Age.
Good times. No, I'm just kidding.
So, whereas the women lived until they're
Okay, but is
Mid
that
to late
because of
50s.
mead and the like, or is
No.
that because
Because
of
the women
ratings?
are
Like,
Everyone had parasites.
is that because of Valhalla? Like,
well.
No,
there
that's
was
because, you know,
The
if
glory.
you didn't die
harsh
in
winters.
battle,
uh-huh.
you had, the stress.
You did the Hugin Shugen?
Harsh winters, right?
Yeah.
30% of your land was farmable. Resources were a big thing. And when your population got out of control, there were going to be people who were going to starve if you didn't go take it from your neighboring tribes or go sail some other place
Yeah.
and take their shit. So there was a constant cause of death. You know,
Yeah.
that's why if you look at our religious views, we're a little grim.
Religious views.
Eh.
And it's not just a religious view, it's just a little grim, you know. But then again, you look at any medic, they have a dark sense of humor anyway.
Triage your
Yes, we do. Yes.
Right. Anything else to add?
Any other questions? Thoughts, ideas?
I have none. Not a single thought.
That takes a lot of practice.
All right.
I'm in the nothing box right now.
I live in a nothing box. All right. On that note, hit the little subscribe, like, and hit the
Yes, do the
Yes,
dance
yes,
because
do
we
the
do
Larry dance, he's not
yeah.
here. And hit the little what is the little bell thing to get
Hit the
notifications
like.
and such.
Hit the likes, and we will answer you. Just be respectful.
Right.
And we will answer you, and we're looking forward to anything you have to say.
Right.